Virtual Campground is a community of RVers. We gather around the campfire to share stories, information, and travel tips that help you on your next adventure. Your camp hosts, Deborah and Barry Benton, are full-time RVers in search of quaint bookstores, cozy coffee shops with great Wi-Fi, and epic photography opportunities, all to share with you. So pull up your chair and join us in the Virtual Campground. Welcome to the Virtual Campground. We are so glad you are here.
We are.
So,
you are.
I am. We
Barry.
are. We are.
He is Barry. I'm Deborah.
That's Deborah. So we are going to talk about Traverse City. And we did learn
Traverse
that it's
City.
not Traverse City, as in go from one place to another.
Even though
it's Traverse. Yeah, Traverse City, Michigan. And it's a really cool part of Michigan, really cool part of the country. So we're excited to talk to you about that today.
Yes, we learned a lot of new ways to pronounce words when we were in Michigan. I felt like we were constantly mispronouncing. Someone told us, and you know who you are, that our Texas tongues couldn't really handle Michigan words.
No, there are a lot of complex Michigan words.
Yes, there are.
I mean, Traverse is easy, but there were
well, it is, but it's not because it looks like Traverse,
right?
But it's Traverse.
Yeah. So just know that going there.
Yes, you know what we made fun of. But it was a delightful area, and we're going to share with you some of our favorite places there. We also have another great recipe to share with you today, and a few other little things here and there.
Yeah. Just a potpourri of good stuff.
Potpourri, good word.
All right, shall we get right into Traverse City?
Let's go.
Okay.
This is our second in our series on Michigan. The first one we talked about Holland and I guess they call that the western portion of Michigan, but the eastern portion of the Michigan Lake. That's always confusing to me, but that's okay. It's Holland. It's sort of there on the curve of your palm is where the Holland segment is. So please check that link out below to see that segment if you didn't see it. But today. Yeah,
today's Traverse City, and this is how, Michiganders,
yes, I think so.
Show you Michigan. If you're trying to get someplace, they'll throw up the hands and they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's right here." So anyway, that's where we are, right here near the pinky.
Well, we're actually going to talk more about the bottom of the pinky, but we will go up the pinky and up the ring finger today.
Yes, that's right. That's all very confusing, but.
And that, you don't need a maps go now, do you? Because now we told you go up the pinky and the ring finger.
That's right.
That's
where all the fun is.
Yes, we are. Those are the peninsulas where those fingers are. And that area down there at the bottom, that is where Traverse City and Sleeping Bear National Lakeshore.
Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore?
Yep, I think that's what it's called. So that's what we're going to talk about. There is so much to do in this area. You've got beaches. You've got cherries, you've got
wine,
orchards, we've got lots of wine, breweries, dining, plus you've got the National Lakeshore, and the cutest little beach towns. And I mean Traverse City is cute, and then they're all up there, all up that pinky and the ring finger. Yep, I just feel silly saying that. And stop saying it. Say peninsula, and this is, in our opinion, a not to be missed area of Michigan. So you are probably going to go to Michigan at some point. You should, if you're not planning in it. We highly recommend it because there's a lot there to be offered. And this area should definitely be on the do not miss. It is known as the cherry capital of the world.
No, that's crazy. We saw so many cherries.
Sadly, we weren't there when it was the peak time. That's about the third week of July. We were there a little bit earlier than that. So we didn't get to actually pick any cherries or get to eat fresh cherries. But we did get to have some lovely cherry items and saw a lot of opportunities to purchase cherries.
Oh, yeah. There's cherries all over the place. They're proud of their cherries.
As they should be. As they should be. And, of course, those same climates make for good wine.
Yes.
And I'm not really a wine snob because I don't know enough about wine to be a wine snob, but I'm enough of a wine snob.
Do you know what you like?
To know what I like and to not think many states can make it, except for California. I was totally disprove this trip.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There were some good vineyards, and I mean, we tasted some that was not so awesome, but we tasted some that was really nice.
Yes, so great wines there. If that is your jam, so to speak, then you will enjoy this area. So when's the best time to visit, do you think, this area?
I don't think there's anything magic. I think it'd be fun to be in the middle of the summer when there are, there's the cherry, when the cherry harvest, near the cherry harvest. And there's probably some sort of cherry festival or something that would happen, I'm sure. But sometime in the summer, even though it's going to be a lot more crowded because of people, I think that's probably optimum time. But I really enjoyed it while we were there.
Which was June, which is still summer, but we were there a little bit ahead of it. Yeah. And the good thing about that area is from a weather perspective over the summer, it can get warm. It did get warm once or twice, but warm being like in the 80s. Yeah. And I think for the most part, it gets between 70 and 80. You've got the lake effect, so you almost always have breezes. Fall would be really lovely there as well. But as you get into later October, you do have a chance of snow.
You don't want to risk it to getting too close into fall because it'll get cold up there pretty quick.
It'll be pretty. But no matter what time of the year you go, pack for every season because you are very likely to encounter it. There were many mornings we woke up, it was very cold, and then it got very warm. So you definitely want to have a jacket with you at all times.
Yep.
So let's talk about some of the key areas to visit. So Traverse City itself is an adorable town. We had so much fun there that we have very few pictures of it.
Yeah,
it's kind of surprising for us.
We did go into downtown Traverse City several times, but we were just being tourists and enjoying it.
Or working.
Or working.
So we did a lot of shopping. There's a very good main street with some shopping. There's several great breweries and a couple distilleries even. So we'll get to a little bit more of that. But the first trip we really took out of the city, and out is really just a few miles. It was up to Mission Point, the Mission Point, which is the Ring Finger Peninsula, so to speak. So we went all the way up to the top to this lovely lighthouse.
Yeah, and that's a thing to know. If you're going, I think we mentioned this on our last video about Michigan. If you're coming to Michigan, and if you're into lighthouses or want to see lighthouses, they are all over the place. So and they'll have maps that'll point them out. So do a little research ahead of time, and you'll find them plenty of lighthouses to go to.
Yes, or you can go into any gift shop and look at puzzle boxes.
Oh my gosh,
get to see the lighthouses, and you can pick which ones you want to visit because some of them are very, very pretty, and some of them are, okay.
Yeah.
And obviously, as a photographer, you were very interested in seeing the lighthouses at certain points of the day. Which some of the time we were able to do that, some of the time we were not. No. This one, Mission Point Lighthouse, was built in 1870. And a family lived there, and you can actually go in there. There's a small museum in there as well as a gift shop, and you can take you can walk up to the very top there and have a really nice view out on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, and our friend Jen Kemper was with us, and she flew a drone and got a beautiful shot.
Great shot. Yeah,
looking down. So really cool shot from Jen.
So it's a nice little area to walk around. They have a couple of they have another cute cabin you can walk around at. It's a little state park, and then you can actually go out there, as you can see, on the beach.
Yeah.
And have a lunch if you wanted to. We saw a couple of people bringing Domino's.
That was a little
down
different.
there, yeah. But it was a nice area to just walk around. And then once you have walked around and seen this historic site,
it's time to get refreshed and
hit
some vineyards.
So on the way back down the peninsula, it's really easy to stop in at
there were
one of many wineries.
Quite a few. Now, did you need reservations at these if you were going to do it?
For the most part, no. I don't. We were able to walk into all three of these.
Into ours, and, I've heard you need reservations at some, but
always, and especially if they're on the weekends, it's probably not a bad idea. We were there. I think it was a Saturday, but it was in early June.
It was windy and chilly.
We went to Chateau Chantelle was our first stop. As you can see, really pretty views of the area. But it was a little windy up there and a little chilly. So again, have that jacket with you.
Yeah.
That was a really nice area. They had a large bar inside, a nice gift shop. I think they actually even had a restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. This out on their patio was really lovely as well.
I believe this is one of those that if you had a reservation, then you spent time in the tasting room. We saw some people doing there.
And then we
went to a different line where we just got it and then walked out on this back porch, which was lovely.
Yes. They poured these for us, explained what it was. We got to pick from several. Not my favorite winery. Wasn't.
No.
I
Beautiful
didn't really,
view, though.
Yep, lovely view. So that was the first one. Then we went to Black Star Farms, which was much smaller, an indoor tasting area with a cute little bar area. Nice, very friendly person that explained their wines, as well as a very well curated wine store, so to speak. So all the items.
They had tons of
wine accessories.
If you wanted to buy it and if it said wine on it, you could get it there.
Yes.
All kinds of
signs and knickknacks and decorations. So again, this one was much better. We enjoyed these better, but still not our favorite. Our favorite was the Chateau Grand Traverse, which we did not have a picture of.
We were so busy enjoying the wine, we didn't take any photos here. But.
So that was a great one. We did a tasting, and then we each got a glass of wine and went and sat outside. It was warmer there because it wasn't up high.
We were down a little bit.
And so we got to sit in the sun, had a charcuterie board, enjoyed our glass of wine, enjoyed a beautiful view over the vineyards and as it kind of valleyed. It was very pretty, and I think it'd be a very lovely place for sunset. I think the area that we found that was a nice overlook was just to the side of the winery, right. So it would be a lovely place to take in for a sunset.
One point here is what we've discovered is that if you go inside, you can stand at the bar, or maybe they had stools, but you could be at the bar and do your wine tasting.
Well, if you wanted to do wine tasting, you had to be there at the bar. Yes,
but you couldn't take your charcuterie board to the bar.
Well,
you had to go outside. It wasn't
very conducive for that. Yeah. So you had to go outside to eat.
Yeah.
And then you had to have like a glass. But the really cool thing was the tasting, and they allowed you to keep the glass.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
A Black Star, too. So you got the souvenir glass along with your tasting. A little difficult in an RV, but that was okay. He traded me. It was very nice. It was a stemmed glass. Yeah. But outside they served in stemless, so he let me trade it out. So I got to have a stemless, which is much easier to handle
more
in
RV
the RV.
Friendly.
Yes, a little bit more RV friendly.
And then our good friend Jen Kemper loves trees, so she saw this tree and she just had to go give it a hug. You can't see her very well there, but she's at the bottom of the tree giving that a hug.
It was a beautiful tree.
It was a beautiful tree.
So
she
yes,
ran out there to give that a hug, and we don't recommend this, especially in Texas. But
well, and also when it's private land.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
But the one thing I did want to say about Grand Traverse Winery, that was actually founded by Ed O'Keefe, who he was the first winery on the peninsula. So he actually started the winery movement there in that area, and they have a wine dedicated to him called the Handstand. It's a white and a red. He was a gymnast, and he liked to do handstands apparently. So yes, just.
That's a fun
little fact.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a fun fact. All right, so then we did Sleeping Bear Dunes.
Yep, another day.
Yeah, Sleeping Bear Dunes National Seashore, we think is Lakeshore. And that's about a 40-minute drive from Traverse City?
Yeah, I think it was.
And really cool, steep dunes all going along the coast there. You can see there are tiny little people down there.
Teeny tiny little ants.
Going
actually
up and
people.
Down. And they had a warning that was to the effect of, this is very steep. It'll cost you a lot of money for us to come rescue you.
I think it was $300 fine or $300 rescue. Was it $3,000?
Something. $3,000, I think.
$3,000 for them to rescue because they've actually had people. So it's really fun to go down because you just sort of roll down there, so to speak, or run down there. But coming up can take, but coming back up, I think I read it's about a 20% grade.
Wow.
And people were basically doing it on their feet and hands. Like their hands were helping them go up. It did not look like something I needed to do.
No. And they said in the middle of the summer that sand can get extremely
very hot.
And so people will get halfway up and get dehydrated, heat stroke, and just worn out, and they have to be rescued.
Because they will go down there and picnic, and they'll get in the water, and they'll play in the water, so then they're all refreshed, but then they have to start climbing this up. So it comes with a warning. That said, I do know that many people have done it, people that are in much better shape than we are.
People are doing it right there.
And they do it very quickly. There is another area of Sleeping Dune that's actually called the Dune Climb, which is less steep. I think it does not, if you climb to the top of it, you can see the lake, but it doesn't then go into the lake.
Okay.
It's really off of the road. A lot more kid friendly. A lot of families with kids. It has a lot of bathrooms and picnic tables at the bottom of it. So that's one to try if you want to try one to climb the dunes. So, but climbing in the sand.
Yeah, that's real work.
So,
one of the overlooks just had a fun little thing to.
And the overlooks were really nice. So this was off of the Pierce Stocking Scenic Drive.
Unique drive. That was a really cool drive.
So you went and did this drive. You could stop along the way. Several different overlooks that overlooked into Glen Bay, and then of course over into Lake Michigan as well. The dunes get their name from the legend about the sleeping bear. Do you remember the legend?
I do. It looked like the sleeping bear. Well, you tell it.
So Mama Bear and her 2 cubs were trying to escape, probably from not having enough food. So they were swimming across Lake Michigan. And the 2 little cubs, when they got in sight of the land, got tired. And they stayed where they were and they sank. And those 2 little cubs became the 2 Manitou Islands that are in Lake Michigan, right off of Sleeping Bear Overlook. And then the mom climbed up on the ground and she laid down to watch her cubs. Mm-hmm. And the really interesting thing is, so of course the landmass that was that, and the reason it was named that, looked a little bit like a sleeping bear. Sadly, this area is starting to erode. So there is a lot of talk about the fact that the sleeping bear will probably be gone within, a decade or so. But it was lovely to walk around this. There is several areas where you could take hikes. There's, I think, about 100 miles of hiking in this area. There's a lot of these bluffs. That's, I think, Empire Bluff. That is in Lake Michigan, which is an amazing color of blue. I just, several different areas we saw surprising. Blue or turquoise even. So pretty. But yeah, you can go around and drive a lot of this. You can also get out and walk quite a bit. The area where we just showed you with our picture, we were walking along a trail and got to go out pretty far on a little point to get to see different aspects of the lake and the bay. Yeah,
so it could fit your fitness level and lifestyle.
Yes.
You can walk easily out to some observation points or go on a pretty major hike.
A major hike or a bike ride, or as we showed earlier, a treacherous climb.
And there's some beauty all around there, though. As we were driving to and from some of these places, there's a really cool barn that we stopped at to take some photos. And
when you're driving with 2 photographers in the car, you suddenly hear this stop, and they want to take a shot.
Yeah, we found some little town, and that cool boat was out there, and it's just some cool photography opportunities here and there.
That was a very historic town there at the end of the Sleeping Bear Lakeshore. So old buildings there with lots of signs showing what they used to be, some of which are still inhabited, which is pretty amazing.
So another lighthouse.
Yep.
Was Point
south
Betsy.
of Sleeping Bear. So we did Sleeping Bear, did the drive, did the walks, and then drove down for sunset here at Point Betsy.
Yeah, and I think this is cool because you can actually stay here at this one. It's almost like
pretend to be a
Airbnb kind of thing, and it was built in 1858, and it's a really cool lighthouse. You can tell it's been, obviously it's been updated. They're all freshly painted, and we actually had a little picnic there, so that was fun. We brought food and beverages, and
it was that area we're standing on there is a cement abutment. Do you call that a abutment?
Yeah, let's call that.
Sure. Yeah. But basically cement with blocks and things to the crashing. So you could really sit up there. It was quite windy again, and we were able to watch the sunset. It wasn't dramatic that day, sadly, but you also just had those crashing waves coming up on that cement there and the piers, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so a nice lighthouse to go hang out at.
Absolutely, and beautiful. That one was built in 1858.
Yeah.
So
very cool. All right, so then we heard about this cool place to go have breakfast, and this was, of course, one of the next days. And what was the name of the restaurant?
Red Spire. So this is the Grand Traverse Commons, is the whole area. This used to be a state asylum.
Yeah.
So psychiatric patients would
pretty
come here.
amazing
It
building.
is very amazing. And the original superintendent, Dr. Munson, he believed that beauty is therapy. So he wanted all the patients to be surrounded by beauty. He made sure there was artwork. They ate off of china and had lovely, delicious meals. They had views. So he believed that that really helped them to be healed.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, they decommissioned this as an asylum. And so it stood empty for a long time. But you can go through and take some really cool historic tours.
Yeah, the tours looked really cool.
Yeah, to see all the parts of it and how they did it. They have, I mean, it was a really, for its time, probably quite modern in the way they had the vents set up so that they had air flowing and air conditioning. So that would be really unique. But they also have a good portion of it, especially in the what they call the commons, the building number 50. They have quite a few shops and restaurants, and one of which is called Red Spire Brunch, and it was very tasty. We got to eat outside under a nice umbrella, and it was great eggs Benedict.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I think that so shops, restaurants, restaurant or two, a coffee shop down there.
Cup of dough.
And I think it was residences above. Some of these were turned into
there were
residences.
some. Yes, so they were
really
trying
cool
to
spot.
Redo this. A really cute little bookstore. And when I say little, it was tiny.
Yeah,
but it had some very rare books in it, so it was high-end bookstore.
Yeah, really cool. So this kicked off which is a nice start to our trip. Where were we going? Lilano Peninsula. Is that how you say Lilano?
I believe so. That's how I say it.
We'll hear about it if that's not right. But
it's a loop. It's the M22 loop around that particular peninsula that most people, you actually see a lot of stickers and T-shirts that are M22. So it's very popular.
I think we got one.
We got a sticker. Yes, we did. Of course we did. The first stop we had was in Sutton's Bay, and Sutton's Bay it was, I don't know, would you say about a half a mile of the shops going up and down each side, and just really cute. You can see really cute buildings, very easy to walk around, nice restaurants as well. I don't think we ate there, but I saw a couple, and just really fun stuff. Wow. They did have a beautiful marina with some gorgeous boats, and Barry and Greg decided shopping
we were a little done on the shopping thing, so we went over here to hang out at the end of the jetty. So and
I would tell you, I didn't really see, I think there is a campground not far from Sutton's Bay. I didn't really see it or get to check it out. But if you are going there without a RV, I would stay in Sutton's Bay. It was just so adorable, location. And it's a good location to get you around to see lots of things. Yeah. Okay, so I know I talk about bookstores a lot, and I do. This totally is in my top 5. This was such a cute bookstore, Bay Books. She just did a lovely job of decorating it with just these little cute nooks and crannies and fun little things that you could sit and just enjoy, and just the way she had the books displayed. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It enchanted me, as you can see. So that's a reason to go to Sutton's Bay right there.
There you go. If you're into books, go there.
Yes, absolutely.
And then what did we do? I can't remember. Oh, we went to another lighthouse.
Oh, gee, another lighthouse.
The Grand Traverse Lighthouse. And this one. Park. Yeah. Oh, this was Lilano State Park. So, there's a nice little, we went down to the shore and walked around a bit and came back up to the lighthouse. It was a nice little... Yeah,
we kind of walked around. It was on a point, obviously. Most lighthouses are. And so we walked around the point, but it was very nicely decorated the way they had it. We did not go inside this. I think there were some tours available of it. We didn't choose to do that, but we just walked around it and got to see there is a little gift shop that we did go into. So some lovely gardens around it. Yeah. I loved the rowboat right there that they were filled with flowers. I thought that was just fun. Gave you some ideas. They had one of those benches around the tree where it circles the whole tree, which I always think is so sweet and romantic.
So that was nice. That's a nice lighthouse. And then we meandered on down the road to a place called Fishtown, which we had heard quite a bit about. But it's just a really small old fishing village that's sort of touristy now, but it's nice.
So I think the town itself is called Lilano. This is the town.
Okay.
And then Fishtown is part of that town. It's this one section. But this, I was fascinated by this. It's, some old shanties that are still there. People look like they were living in them. I loved that they had these signs up. They had quite a few of these historic signs. And in fact, they had a whole nother bunch of signs that really talked about the fishermen that had started it and kept it going and gave their history. And a lot of times there was still generations of that family in the area. So that was really fun to see. You could go out on some of these boats. There were boats there for hire.
And these boats, the boats that you see in the front here, those were bought by the historic commission, local historic commission, whatever it was, and moored there just as part of the history of the town. So
they're commercial
fishing
fishing
they were commercial
boats.
fishing vessels.
Yep. And they had turned some of the shanties into little stores, quaint little stores. And then, of course, right outside of Fishtown, as you're going up into the main street for Lilano, there was quite a few more stores. I highly recommend stopping by the Fish Hook and Two Fish. They had some really beautiful local art and souvenir type items. And, of course, there's a bookstore in Lilano. It's a little bit more crowded. It was really pretty, but a lot more crowded. What I liked about this bookstore is they had a whole section in the back, like a covered patio that had all these art supplies in it. So I think they do some either classes or just let kids come in every now and then and do art. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But again, another place that's a great place to wander around and shop, get ice cream because, of course, in a beach town, there's always a place to get ice cream.
Those were two really good day trips from Traverse City.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's three. We did three different ones. Two different peninsulas and Sleeping Bear. And really that is great. You can do other day trips from Traverse City. You can go up to Charlevoix. You could even go all the way to Petoskey, which we'll talk about a little bit on our next show because we did that one from St. Ignace. But yeah, I think that Traverse City gives you lots of options. Lots of options.
All right, so as far as Traverse City itself goes, like I said, we said earlier, we don't have lots of photos from that area, but there's some cool things to do. There was an arts and craft thing, little fair that was going on while we were there, and lots of bars and restaurants. And
there was one that was really good. It was so cute and great for old fashions. If you like old fashions, Mammoth Bar, I think it's called, but it's Mammoth Bourbon. And then there was also a great brewery right next door to that called The Workshop, and they had live music, so that was really cool. Nice. We also really enjoyed the Major Store. That was a good brewery as well. Our favorite brewery was probably Rare Bird. This one was North Peak. Rare Bird had delicious food too. Those Brussels sprouts were really good. And then the other thing that was fantastic there, because of course it is the cherry capital of the world, there is Cherry Republic, which is a store that you can find pretty much throughout Michigan. But I think this is one of the first ones in this area, and it was this first one we went to anyway. And they have delicious cherry flavored just about everything. Salsa, jam.
It was just some weird stuff that I would never have associated with cherries.
Yeah, but it was good. Of course, cherry pie. And then they had all the cherry wines as well. I was not brave enough to try those. I'll be really honest with you. But what I did love, and they had samples all through the store. Yeah. And so that was really wonderful because, really, are you going to buy cherry salsa without getting to sample it? But the chocolate covered cherries, especially the extravagantly dark chocolate cherries,
they were pretty good.
They're pretty darn good, I gotta say. I'm gonna be having withdrawal because we're finishing up our bag, so we're gonna have a problem. I might have to find out about shipping because those are really, really good.
Let's see. We stopped by this really cool ice cream shop called Moomers, and that was very popular.
Very popular. You can actually find Moomers down in the city as well because they sell it in different areas, but we wanted to go out to the actual Moomers. It's a bit out of town.
It is. It was a little bit of a trip,
20 minute drive
minutes or so.
Through a nice farming area, but it is out on a farm. that they've built this. You can see the cows that actually made your ice cream off the deck of the ice cream store. Great flavors.
Yeah.
It had a long line when we got there, but
Yeah.
it was.
But they went through really quick,
Yep.
and it was really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
So highly suggest that one as well. The other thing in town that we really enjoyed was a place called Third Coast Bakery,
that's right.
and they had wonderful chai, and everything in that store, all the baked goods, pies and cakes and scones and muffins, breads, gluten free.
Yeah.
Gluten free, and
they
it was
were
delicious.
good. Yeah, they were good.
Barry didn't even notice it was gluten free until I told him.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So Third Coast, shout out to Third Coast and go try them.
Yes, definitely go try them.
All
Okay,
right.
so if you only had one day in this area, first of all, you can't do it all in one day. You really need, I'd say at least a week would be the best.
Yeah. If you're not on vacation mode where you have all day, but yeah, I think if you are visiting and if you had one thing to do, I mean, just taking those drives, one of those drives, and I couldn't say a favorite one, but
right. So that I would say you'd either
Leno, Fishtown.
Yeah, I would probably do the Lilano Peninsula or Sleeping Bear. It would be hard. You could do because it is on M22. You can do Sleeping Bear and then drive on up to the Fishtown Lilano area and probably all the way up to the Lighthouse, as long as you weren't like doing a major hike on Sleeping Bear or doing something. If you were just doing the drive and a little bit of hike, you could do all that in one day and could. Yeah. But I would probably suggest doing Lilano Peninsula, stopping in Sutter's Bay, then Fishtown, and then on the way back, stopping at a couple wineries. Yeah. That's what I would do if I only had one day.
It would be a lovely day.
And then where did we camp?
So we stayed at Keith J. Charter's Traverse City State Park, which is a lot to say.
Yes. Traverse State Park.
Traverse City State Park. So, but it was a really lovely, big state park.
Yeah,
there were
really
a lot of spots there to stay in here. There's the dump. I don't know. We've never shown a picture of a dump station before.
Why we're now, I don't know.
Well, it's just to show people that you can dump your rig there. So
it did have electricity, right?
Electricity, yeah. I think we had electricity, yeah. The spot that, so the campers were there while we were there, and the spot they were in was super tight. I mean, I don't know how they got it into that spot, but there was a tree right next to the nose of their rig and barely enough room to get their slides out.
The spot wasn't really that tight. It was just in between trees.
It was an awkward
space. So you really, I think this is one state park that, if possible, especially if you're a bigger rig, you would like to know the spots, the numbers that you should probably aim for. The one they were in, I will find that out and put it in notes because I don't remember, but you don't want that one.
Yeah, it was a little too tight. I mean, as you can see, they're just, it was a busy state park. There were a lot of people on the weekends, especially.
On the weekends, During the week, it got very quiet. Like this was a lovely spot.
Yeah, so every now and then they would just have spots that were
cement. Ours wasn't
concrete pads,
and it didn't seem to have any much rhyme or reason to it. But I'm sure it's on the map. But when I was booking it, I don't remember seeing anything that said a premium or anything of that sort.
I mean, you speculated maybe these were the disability spots,
right? But even then, there wasn't a lot of signage about that. The shower and bathrooms were very nice. The area was great. It was very centrally located. You could, this is the Tart Trail.
Yeah, that was really cool. So,
which was right outside the campground.
Yeah, so that's, walking from the campground to the Tart Trail right there. And then you could and that trail went for a long way.
It's about a 10-mile trail altogether.
Yeah, we took our bikes and
you can go all the way to Sutton Bay, it says.
No, that'd be a little long.
You can go all the way down from the camp to downtown. You rode the bike down there and worked at a coffee shop for a while.
Yeah, it was nice.
You can also take it to the left, a much shorter distance, and there's a adorable little meat market with lots of good wines and snacks. That's really where we went to get several of our picnic items.
Yeah, and there's a coffee shop over there as well, and a good bike shop, by the way. If you need some bike work done, we went over there, and I had to buy a new bike pump, so they helped me out.
So it was good, and it's paved, and it goes by the airport and into downtown, and it's a great bike trail. I mean,
So,
really easy.
Every now and then they would have these these planets on poles, and they would have these informational signs that would tell you about, here's Neptune, and it would just tell you randomly. I don't know why that was.
I don't either.
That was kind of random, but they were there.
They
Gave
were
you something
there.
to do as you were hiking along the trail, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because I think that this trail, I think we looked at this at one point, but it connects to a much larger trail system. And so people would be coming through on these long trail rides, and they would stay at Traverse City State Park.
You could get all the way up to
night or
Sutton's
two,
Bay
and-
on.
Yeah.
By that trail connecting to another trail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah. And as always on the state parks in Michigan, we highly recommend state parks in Michigan. We talked about it a little bit in our last video as well. They're great, state parks. They do have usually electrical hookups. They're great from a perspective of space. They do fill up, though. They're very popular. Michiganders, as we were saying, like to camp on the weekends. So they do book up. So you do want to plan ahead when you want to stay at one of these.
Yeah, and go ahead and just commit to that state park pass.
Oh,
for
you
the
have
year.
to have a state park pass.
And instead of doing the daily thing and plan
It's
on.
like $36 and you can get in for a year.
We used ours quite a bit. So
Absolutely.
that's Traverse City and the surrounding area. Anything else to add to put a bow on that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
More to come on Michigan. Next time we will be traveling up to the St. Ignace area and Mackinac.
Yeah, so thanks for coming along. We'll see you soon. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. We really enjoyed our time in Traverse City, Michigan, and its whole surrounding area. So much to do. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If there's something that we missed that we need to consider next time, or you want to share with the other people that are considering going there, add to the comments. And let's all meet up in Traverse City one day.
Just share your information so other people can enjoy that beautiful area. We'd love that. So we have a commercial.
Yes, we do. This is this edition of the TVC live show. Well, it's not really live, I guess, but it's being brought to you by Happy Camper Nails. So our good friend Marcia Hopper is now sponsoring the Camp Carpe Diem that we're doing in Brevard, Asheville area, and we are so excited to have her on as a sponsor. So shout out to Marcia Hopper and Happy Camper Nails. I don't know that I'm going to get any of these nails, but
they're lovely.
Cool.
You get pretty nails without the mess, because this is not nail polish. This is I don't really know what they call them, but they're the almost like stickers that you put on your fingernails, and they last much longer than fingernail polish.
Yeah, if I recall, she said it was like a patented process, and it's actually nail polish that they've made into some almost sticker-like product. She probably hates that we're describing it that way, but
probably we
you
should
get the
learn
picture.
how to better describe it. But please check out Happy Camper Nails. We'll put the link in the show notes. You can find them also on the virtualcampground.com under recommended products.
And that
or the marketplace, actually.
And that all, and she's sponsoring Camp Carpe Diem, of course, which we mentioned in the past, October 20th through the 23rd. It's coming up. We've got a few sites left, so a few tickets left. So hope you can join us there at Camp Carpe Diem in Asheville, Brevard.
Yes. All right. So today we have a short little weekly video for you on fish tacos.
Yep. So enjoy that. All right, so we've got zucchini sliced thin and a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter-infused olive oil. And we've got that spiced up with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, a special rub that the Kempers introduced us to.
Oh, yes, get a little SPG from Cosmos on there. Get some good grill marks on here. We've got the lake trout here, trimmed and ready to go. Pulled from Lake Huron only 48 hours ago. And then we've got our baste, which is an olive oil, lime juice, and assorted spices. We can put that recipe up on the web page, and there's some red onion in there. It smells wonderful. So I'm just going to baste that and it's going on the grill, so you don't want to put too much on, otherwise you can get flame up. But we are doing an indirect heat, so with the indirect heat you reduce the risk of any kind of flame up. So just do both sides, nice and easy. You see that it's been deboned, so there's that piece right there. It's nice and big, but these are some beautiful fillets. Beautiful. That one over, and then this will go on the big green egg. It's sitting right now at about 350 degrees, indirect heat. We will flip it and then baste the cook side. This should be about 3 to 4 minutes aside. In here we've got a wild rice mix that we got up on from the locals. Right here, this is what it looks like right there. Some cranberry celebration rice blend. So a lot of wild rice up north here. The natives, very common in any area where there's big lakes and a native population, kind of a staple. Anybody can start a timer for me, please, for 4 minutes. So when you're taking it off,
Here it is.
it's delicate and it's flaky, so I like to use a 12-inch spatula. I think you will remember the spatula from the Blackstone edition. So when we cooked with the Blackstone, we use the same spatula. We're just going to put it over here in tinfoil for a bit. We'll wrap it up. See how that comes off one nice piece. What I'm going to do with the vegetables, we'll take our veggie pack and we'll put that back on. It's warm to the touch, so those are still pretty warm, but we'll get some more heat on them.
Okay, so what we used for the seasoning on the lake trout is a recipe from the Angry Trout restaurant in Grand Marais, Minnesota, which I highly recommend if you ever get up that way, up on the North Shore. It is a fish sauce that they use for grilling, and it involves some olive oil, lime juice, red onion, dried tarragon, salt, and white pepper, and it is delightful.
All right.
Was that delicious?
That was delicious. I'm hungry again, so let's wrap this up so we can go eat.
Good idea. I don't think we're having fish tacos tonight,
Nope.
but maybe this week. We do have some fish left over from our fishing trip.
That's right, we do.
So we might be making fish tacos.
Right.
Okay, so the community corner.
Yeah, so it's all about us this time.
Yeah, y'all didn't share with me anything to celebrate. Please do if you have anything. But this time we're going to celebrate a nomadiversary.
Yeah, so it's our 4th year
4-year
being on the road,
anniversary,
4
yes.
year being full time. This was our first stop. We stopped at our
Harvest Host.
Harvest Host. Yeah, where we
In
are
Lubbock.
tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, in Lubbock, Texas, and it was a
Ironically,
winery out
we
there.
have started the 4 years at a Harvest Host, and we have ended the 4 years at a Harvest Host. So I started our 5th year at a Harvest Host. So that's kind of fun, I guess. So
Yeah.
It's a circle. The
That's
circle
right.
of life.
Yeah, thanks.
The circle of
Shout out
RVing.
to Harvest Host, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So some of our favorite places have been Harvest Host. So absolutely, this was, and so I'm curious if you celebrate your nomadiversary and what number you're on, whether you're a full-timer, a some-timer, a part-timer,
Right.
how long have you had an RV? Can you actually remember the date? I remember it because that picture was taken on August 12th, so 2018, so it's easy to remember.
There you go.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, so what's coming up next? We have another, we're going to do some more about Michigan.
Yep,
We have,
that's coming soon. We also have some solar coming.
Yep.
Hopefully, we're going to also talk about Starlink. Hopefully, we'll get that done.
Yep.
So
we've been using Starlink.
Yep.
Yeah, we're got it up running right now.
This show brought to you.
That's right.
Okay, so I would like to ask a question for you guys to put in the comments. I would love to know what is your favorite camping menu item. So what do you make when you're cooking at a camp? So fish tacos, maybe?
Points for creativity.
Yes, absolutely. So curious to know, what is your favorite go-to menu item when you are camping.
Yep. All right, cool.
So that's it.
Thanks so much for being here. This was fun. And please share this with your travel-loving friends and family. Let them know about the virtual campground. And we'd love to grow the community, continue growing the community. And until we can meet you in person sometime, we hope to see you in the virtual campground.
See you around the campfire.